Jina langu ni Loic Amado, ninatoka Uswizi, mimi ni manager wa kampuni ya Uber Afrika Mashariki, ninaishi Nairobi. So I studied in Stellenbosch, and I've always been a big fan of Africa. I traveled a lot, and I'm extremely excited about the impact that Uber is making on these communities in terms of creating economic opportunities, but also on the other hand, drivers are often coming into our training center without having a smartphone, without having a bank account, not being always financially literate, and there's a massive opportunity to upskill these individuals. And we've just seen that impact over the past couple of years being the biggest on the continent. Companies have rethought about how they structure lending, and I'm speaking about banks, for example. And because we're a technology company and every transaction is being tracked on the application, we've thought about this is actually creating some sort of a credit history for a driver. And we then went into a partnership with several banks across the region, and they have accepted the fact that this is a good enough credit history if you have a certain driver rating on Uber and if you have done a certain amount of trips. And for example, here in Nairobi, if you do 500 trips and you have a 4.6 star rating, you get access to 100% financing to get a brand new car without a down payment. So that's kind of transformational and revolutionary, and those are the things that I'm so excited about seeing on the continent. At Uber, we want to be able to put more people into fewer cars, right? Over the years, we've seen that a lot of people were ordering at the same time, going into the same direction. And what we thought was, how can we move those two duplicate trips and turn them into one? And when you do that, you see that first of all, the price goes down for the clients, but you're also seeing that there's more people getting into fewer cars, and that ultimately has an impact on congestion and pollution within a city. And that's something that we've seen massively as an impact across all the cities where Uber operates Uber Pool, and we're very excited about bringing that soon to the continent as well, and Nairobi specifically. I think that's one of the keys to success with Uber, the way we think about expansion and the way we really localize the business. As a launcher, I would go into a brand new market for me. I'd never been there before. And you really try to immerse yourself in the culture, the environment, and try to understand the city. And then, most importantly, you hire a local team that knows all the pain points in the city and know what ticks. And I think at Uber, we've never been really not convinced that it wouldn't work. So we just kept on pushing into a new city because this is just filling a gap all across the world. And I think just that perseverance and that understanding of the local market conditions. Every market is different, there's different needs, but how we localize that, first of all, with hiring a team that is local, and also looking at what products we should roll out, be that Uber Moto or Uber Rickshaw, Uber Auto, or Uber X like here in Nairobi. Nairobi is a good example because once we launched, we came to the conclusion that you can't just have credit card or debit card payment here as a payments option for riders or clients. So we actually made the case when we started in Nairobi to also add a cash option. And we piloted it in Nairobi as a first city globally, and since the cash launch as a payment option, our growth has just accelerated. And then we've rolled it out in India, in Latin America, and we just see that once you really understand what is needed, what needs to be done to launch successfully, and being agile in those new products, that just accelerates growth. So right now, another avenue would be if we would launch a new country in Africa, would from the get-go already start with cash, because credit card and debit card penetration is so low. We had a very interesting 2017 so far, right? We had some driver concerns or concerns from drivers. Some went on strike, and there it's important for us to show that we're in a constant dialogue with drivers and constantly monitoring their driver earnings. Fuel prices went up in the beginning of the year. We also had seen higher inflation. So when we look at these operational costs and maintenance costs, and we use that, or we input that into our pricing model that has been tried and tested in over 500 cities, we identified, okay, let's do a 17% price increase because of the rising fuel prices, and that's what we rolled out then mid-March. Another big challenge here in the region is congestion, obviously, right? If you sit in traffic for 40 days a year here in Nairobi, you're almost going crazy. It's the same situation in Lagos, it's the same situation in Accra, so that's a big challenge, but also a massive opportunity for us, right? With Uber Pool to really get more people into fewer cars, and that people start sharing rides more often, and that has an impact on congestion. Last year, we launched 3 new countries in 3 weeks, which was Ghana, Tanzania, and Uganda. And those 3 countries were actually the fastest growing cities in EMEA, Europe, Middle East, and Africa at the time. So that was quite an accomplishment, and it's been quite a fun experience. Being as reliable as possible at any time within the city, because then you start thinking about other products that you can roll out, like Uber Pool, that has an impact on congestion. We're quite excited about the delivery market here as well. Uber Eats, maybe, who knows? This is definitely a massive opportunity here across the region. So we just gotten started, I would say. There's so much still to do, and there's so many opportunities, and we're quite excited in venturing into other products as well. Be that Uber Boda, maybe something with Matatus, also another low-cost product, or Uber Eats and Uber Rush, which are more in the delivery space. So it's the first time I attended this conference. Been really extremely excited to see how the organization went, and there's a lot of very interesting players across or present at this event. I think what is transformational is coming back to having companies rethink the way they structure lending, right? And using data, and us as a technology company, we collect data every single day, and talking to companies to really revolutionize the way they've been doing things. And the best example there is the City and Bank deal, for example, where they are happy if a driver has done 500 trips and has a rating of 4.6 stars out of 5, that is enough of a credit history to provide him with a car, and without a down payment. So that's quite revolutionary. Since we started in 2015 here in Nairobi, we've seen that 6,000 drivers have partnered with Uber. So that's quite a good impact in terms of economic opportunities that have been created. And we're extremely excited about getting that to the next level. A lot of the drivers start under a fleet partner, being on a salary, not owning their own car. But for us, it's that life cycle where they do the trips, get a good rating, and now have access to their own car, and they become their own boss. Can choose whenever they set their own schedule, and literally now are having their own small businesses, right? And we always want to make sure that drivers keep the most money in their pocket at the end of the day. So we go into as many partnerships as possible. We just launched one with Old Mutual, where drivers get free financial literacy training, and the uptake has been massive. A lot of drivers even take their spouses or dependents to these trainings, and that is just important for drivers to really run a sustainable business, right? And that's what we're excited about. As we spoke, a lot of telcos are present, and there's a lot of synergies that we can have with a lot of telcos. So I can't wait to meet as many people as possible here. Most definitely. I've been really impressed with the organization here and just the people that are around. I haven't been able to really speak to too many yet, but so far it's been an absolute excellent experience. Innovative, I'd say enlightening, and organization.